my big concern for this legislative season is attacks on the Second Amendment, mostly by the left, to remove our right to keep and bear arms as United States citizens, and I just really want to encourage you to resist those attacks, and I'd like to know what you guys plan to do to ensure that our constitutional rights are maintained. Thank you.
Well, there's a few bills that are approaching or nibbling at the Second Amendment, and again, depending on how you read the Second Amendment, it would suggest that's where your vote and your passions would lie. Personally, I think it does nothing to affect the true solution to some of the violence issues. I think what we're talking about is essentially making it harder for the folks that the overused term is law-abiding citizens, and so I will struggle as those come to the floor.
I'm going to be introducing legislation that says that anyone who uses a gun an illegally obtained gun to commit a crime will get an immediate life sentence.
Wow.
I'm sorry about your luck. If you want to threaten everyone else's rights,
How are you going to pay for that?
it's cheap. Prison's cheap. Compared to the loss of life, you betcha.
You know, and I'll add on too. I think that finding the avenues by which to appropriately punish those folks who have committed the crime is I think an area that I'm interested in finding progress in. I should learn more about your bill. But I think, you know, as it comes to Washington State, it's pretty tough to find a bill that we haven't passed around guns. There is, of course, the governor's new ideas with magazines and semi-automatic weapons. But I think, I mean, this is a state where I'm not going to call it thought policing, but I mean, we have these red flag laws. We have a system that actually works really well when it comes to background checks. You know, I've had the privilege to walk into a few gun stores. I'm not a gun guy per se. I don't own an AR-15 or anything like that. But, you know, you ask them, you say, you know, who buys guns here? Well, people who can. We have a lot of people come in that try and buy guns that aren't allowed to. And, you know, the first thing we do, we send it to the police. I said, our business is on the line, our license is on the line, and oh, by the way, we have a moral compass. You know, we don't want to sell guns to bad guys. And so I think, you know, for as much as we can know somebody's behavior and intention, for as much as we can prove that someone's going to cause harm, we can keep the guns out of their hands through legal means. They're still going to get a gun. They're still going to get one. But are they getting it because of the state? And the answer to me is no. So I think what you said makes sense there. Another interesting thing, this is not necessarily a party line issue. You can simplify it to that, but there are a lot of people in rural Washington, especially if you want to find Democrat legislators, who struggle with this discussion as well, because it's a way of life. It's a way of life. And you know, I mean, in each party, you're going to have people that, you know, jump on the PR bandwagon and follow that agenda, you know, off the edge of the planet. And you're going to find people who realize what's going on in their district. And I think there's a reason that these bills usually hit roadblocks. And it's because the discussions happen. 2020 is another year. It's an election year. A lot of things are up in the air. But I think, you know, to say that Washington is under-regulated would be a misstatement. How about that?
And I'd like to point out that last year we passed so many pieces of legislation that let people out of jail early. And some of them profoundly. Adam Betancourt, who killed the seniors over in Moses Lake, was released after, I think, 9 years of time, even though he slaughtered these people. So we're going, in my humble opinion, absolutely the wrong direction. If we really want to stop gun violence, then let's look. People who are going to commit crimes with guns, they don't care about the law. they don't care. They're not like going, oh, I'm not gonna do it because it's against the law. They're like, I don't care. So, so I think that we have to get tougher on those people who make those bad choices and just put a stop to this because it's ridiculous.
In our own government. And when people feel like they're oppressed and they have no way to act out against it, Hong Kong is a perfect example. Those people right now are begging for a Second Amendment so that they can defend themselves. They are fighting armed police officers with umbrellas that are trying to usurp their rights. Our founding fathers had fought a war against tyranny to free us. They were all considered criminals by the state that ruled them at that time. And as we look in history, they're the ones that made us free, that made us to be this great country that we are today. And the Washington State Constitution in Article 1, Section 124.
I think it's 24.
Yeah, it's 24.
Might be 28.
Is even more strongly worded than the Second Amendment of the United States, where it says that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be impaired. That means don't even touch it. So House Bill 2241 is on the docket to be looked at by the legislator and voted on. And that bill right there is so that people would have to, register anything that's deemed an assault weapon, which is a semi-automatic rifle. So that means that a 22 caliber Ruger that most kids learned how to shoot on when they were little kids is now classified as an assault weapon. And I honestly believe that what's happening here is a much bigger thing than just trying to keep people safe, because we just had perfect evidence of what keeps people safe was the church in Texas, where this guy walked in and he pulled out a shotgun. So it wasn't even a semi-automatic weapon. And he shot 2 people. And the only thing that stopped him was the third person in the room that was armed that produced his weapon and shot the guy right in the head. Within 6 seconds, it was over.